I'd like to welcome Principal Sir, all the faculty members, and all the young ladies to this function. I'd also like to welcome Chief Minister, Education Minister, and other dignitaries. I'd like to start by saying it is an honor for me to come here and have a conversation with you. And it's an honor because I consider you to be the future of this country.
Girls, one by one, you can raise your hands and you can ask sir questions. Please introduce yourself before starting the question. You can start raising your hands. Volunteers will give you a mic. Please use the mic to ask the questions.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Myself, Sheriba Ruth from English Department. Though we speak about equality, there are still a number of departments and sectors where equal allocation of seats are not given for women. So if you are in charge, will you give 50% allocation of seats for women in all the departments?
Look, I would like to give... you see, you have to understand, if we are going to be absolutely fair, then for many years, you've had many less seats, correct? So there's also a backlog that we have to make up. So I don't think it should be 50-50. I think it should be actually 60-40 for you. But that will be difficult, okay? Because the men will have something to say about it. They won't be happy about it. So let us start with 50-50 and then slowly go to 60-40.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to, by the way, before I start, I'd like to apologize to all of you because my flight got delayed in Delhi, so you've had to wait here a little while. So I wanted to just say, apologize and say sorry about that.
Next question, please. Volunteer, please hand over the mic.
I'm Kamalni from BCom General. My question is, what advice could you give to young women to strengthening a democracy and to continue the economic prospects to our country?
Democracy requires independent institutions. It requires a judiciary. It requires a free press. It requires conversation in the houses of parliament, in the houses, in the state houses. And all of you have a role to occupy those places. You will all become maybe judges, lawyers, journalists. You will work in these institutions. And the best way to defend democracy is to make sure that when you're working in these institutions, you're being independent. That you're not listening to somebody who's forcing you to say something, and that you're defending the independence of the institution. So, for example, over here, if we have a free discussion, open discussion, that would be democratic. If, on the other hand, we didn't allow questions, we only gave a speech, and then we went away, that would not be democratic. So, it is your duty to force discussion, where discussion is not happening. To protect people who are being threatened. You can see today in the country, people are being threatened, people are being killed because of their opinion. And it is your duty to protect these people, to step out and say, no, I'm not going to allow that. That's not going to happen under my watch. So you have to take responsibility for this country. This is your country. Correct? Belongs to you? What is your name? Huh? Ilikya. It belongs to you, no? The country belongs to you. So you have to step forward and say, I am not going to accept anything less than the best. Right? Yeah. So that's basically the idea. You fight for your rights and you fight for the rights of everybody around you. And also, one more thing. One more thing. See, different parts of this country have different ideas, different cultures. For example, I came here and the first question I asked you, would you like me to translate what I'm saying into Tamil? Right? Why did I do that? I did that because I basically respect your language. I basically respect your way of doing things. I don't want to come and tell you that, listen, you have to do things in this way. You have to speak some other language. You have to do X, Y, Z. I want to understand your culture, appreciate your culture, give you my ideas, take your ideas, and then go back home and talk to people about those ideas. So it's also important that if you want to protect democracy in India, that you defend your culture. It is important that you defend your language. It is important that you defend your way of doing things. And the Tamil people should defend their culture. The Bengali people should defend their culture. Punjabi people should defend their culture. But always respect the other culture. So you can't say that I will defend my language, but then those people over there, their language I will not defend. Right? So that is the spirit of appreciation of other people's way of doing things, and that's at the heart of Indian democracy. India is actually many different ideas. There's not one idea in India. There are many, many, many different ideas, and that's the core of defending democracy.
Next question, please.
Sir, I'm here.
Okay, listen, my name is not Sir. Okay, my name is Rahul, so call me Rahul, please. Sir, you can call your principal Sir, you can call your teachers Sir, you call me Rahul. Okay?
Maybe we can call him Rahul Anna.
Yeah, you can call me Rahul Anna, that's good.
Good afternoon, Rahul Anna. Myself Ryuma and I'm from Max department. My question is, do you have friends other than political friends? Among them, how many of your girls and they are from which fields?
I have plenty of friends. I have plenty of friends who are not political. I also have some friends who are political. And then there are a lot of people who see me as their political enemy, but I view them as my political friends. And I have quite a few interests. You know me as a politician, but I have quite a few interests. And I have friends who have similar interests. So I sort of discuss those interests with them and do a lot of those things with my friends. So yes, I do have friends. Do you? Huh? What?
Girlfriends.
We'll leave that for another day.
Next question, please.
So I have two questions for you. The first one
Political?
is...
Political ones or non-political?
One is little bit of a political one, but not much of a political one actually. So the first question...
I'm fine with both.
Okay. Okay.
They might not like it.
Okay. Okay, the first one is unemployment is being a major issue in India, as we all know. But what would you do to reduce or remove unemployment of women when you become the Prime Minister of India?
I think as I said, I'll explain it very simply. If you want to create jobs, the most important thing is the banking system. Right? The money that the country has in the banks and who controls it. That's the most important thing. Today, largest number of jobs in India are produced by small and medium businesses, entrepreneurs. But they do not have access to the banks. The banks, majority of the money of the banks is given to 5, 10, 15 of the biggest businessmen in the country. I would move the money of the banks from the 5, 10 biggest businesses in the country to the millions of smaller and middle-sized businesses in the country. That's what I would do. And then I would ensure that millions of Indian women who want to start a business, who want to employ people for India, can easily take bank loans and start their business. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I feel that the understanding of finance, understanding of money, women are not taught about money. Society doesn't like teaching women about money. Because the moment women understand money, women can become independent. And so I think that's a very important thing to do, to show women the link between finance and independence. There's a direct link between finance and independence. If you get married to somebody and you do not have access to finance, you cannot be independent. Simple. So, educating women about how money works, what it means to be financially literate, what it means to be financially independent, these are very, very important things. And I think I would emphasize on that. I would tell all of you that one of the most important goals for you should be financial independence. 100% financial independence. You should be able to earn your own money, you should be able to spend your own money, and you should be independent as a result of that. So I think those are the things I would focus on.
Okay, sir.
You've all gone quiet. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
You agree with that? How many of you here are financially independent? Look at that. How many of you here are financially independent? Is anyone here financially independent? So that's an important step for you. You should think about your own financial independence. And I would like that when I meet you 3 or 4 years from today, and I come to this room and I say, listen, how many of my sisters are financially independent? At least 90% of you should say, yeah, I'm financially independent. Look.
The next question, you were just talking about the farm bills introduced by the center. And recently, the 21-year-old Disha Ravi has been arrested. And what is your take on her arrest?
Look, throughout the country, people are being arrested for what they feel. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll get arrested for saying this. What I said here, I don't know. You know, maybe they won't like it and they might arrest me for what have you gone and said to those girls. But, as I said in the beginning, a nation is its thoughts. A nation is its words. From the thoughts and the words, right, come actions. From the thoughts and the words comes character. From character comes destiny. So if you're shutting up the nation and you're frightening people and not allowing them to talk, you're destroying the nation's character. You're destroying the nation's destiny. It's simple. And no youngster in this country should allow anybody to frighten them into silence. If I come here one day and I say I'm going to frighten you into silence, you should not listen to me. Because your words, your thoughts, they are what make the country. That's your power. Don't give your power to anybody else. Why did I come here and say you have to be financially independent? Because I want you to have your own power. I don't want somebody else to define your life for you. That's why I'm saying to be financially independent. You have a role in society, you have power in society, fight for it. If somebody takes it away, challenge him. Don't run away and say, no, 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 I can't do it, I'm a woman. Absolutely you can. Stand up to him. And many of your brothers, like me, are standing right there with you to work with you for it. Not to protect you, because you can protect yourself, but to stand by your side. Yeah? That's what politics is about.
Good afternoon, Rahul Anna. Good afternoon, Rahul Anna. I'm here.
Where are you?
I'm here.
Hello.
Hello, Anna. I'm from economics department. Your father was killed by LTT. What are your feelings about these people?
I don't myself. I don't have anger or hatred towards anybody. Of course, I lost my father, and for me it was a very difficult time. Do you have a father?
Yes.
He's alive. So, I'm sure many girls here have lost their father. You've lost your father? Yeah? So you know what it feels like. It's like someone has cut your heart out, no? It's like that. So I felt tremendous pain, but I don't feel anger. I don't feel any hatred or any anger. I forgive.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Anna. Rahul ji.
Okay, now they've given me a slip saying last question. So I'm going to have to listen to them, and
Hello.
this will be the last question.
Hello.
Yeah. The mic's not working.
Sir, can you please turn around?
Yes.
I'm asking a question here.
Okay, yeah.
Sir, good afternoon.
You again, you like sir, but call me Rahul, call me Anna, call me.
Sorry, Anna.
Be comfortable.
I used to call my professor,
Yeah, but
so it's just
I-
a habit in college.
But I want you to be comfortable.
Okay, Anna.
I want you to
I'll
relax.
stick to Anna, no
Yeah.
more sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, even now you shared your pain by the loss of your father. So your
Well, loss of my father, no, because I still carry my father with me. So, look, understand something. Violence cannot take away anything from you. At all. It does not have the power. You can give up something, but violence cannot take anything from you. My father's alive in me. And by the way, a lot of the things that you have heard today, they came to me from my father. So my father is talking through me. So it's not that my father is not there today.
after many hardships that your family have faced in politics, that is your grandmother, your father, what made you to step back in politics? What gave you the courage to be in politics even after all the hardships you and your family have faced?
See, politics is a lens through which you see me. You see me, right now you're like, oh, he's a politician. But that's just, it's a very small lens. I am a human being, right? As you saw, I'm a cook, right? I can cook. I do many, many different things. But you've been told that I am a politician, and that's the lens with which you see me, right? It's only one of the things that make me. For me, whatever I do, I believe in certain ideas. Okay? Like for example, when she told me that she's not going to be an engineer. This caused me disturbance. I didn't like it, right? I was, why is society not letting her dream? Why is society destroying her dream? So when I see somebody being treated unfairly, I don't like it. It irritates me and I want to try and do something about it. And I found that this profession that you call politics allows me to do that for many people. And so I do that. I don't think it requires courage. I just go ahead and do it. You know, that's just what I do. And for me, like this conversation I had with you, I'm going away with a lot of understanding that I got from you. You will think that, oh, I came here, gave a speech and left. But I learned from you. I learned many things from you. And I'm going to take that home with me. And I hope that you learned one or two things from me. Yeah. So I think that's what life is about. It's about me respecting you, me listening to you, and then you doing the same, and then us improving both our situation. I don't think that needs courage. No.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Look, it's been a pleasure for me coming here and talking to you. Did you have a nice time? It's been a pleasure for me. Now I've got other people who I have to go and speak to because there's a public meeting, and so I can't delay much more. But maybe I'll come back here sometime and have a longer conversation with you. Okay? Thank you very much.
अगर आपको हमारे वीडियोस पसंद आए तो प्लीज़ लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें और शेयर करें।